Alright, we're back. I took a little break, so I'm just gonna reload the file here. And I'm gonna be going into mission, excuse me, mission 16 here. So we're gonna be heading back into the cast. Weird thing about this mission, it starts you get a whole blue orb, so that's pretty nice. Very generous of them. So I'm just taking a drink of water there. I don't know why my throat was all scratchy for a second. So first thing I want to do in this mission is ignore those guys. We're going right back into the room we came from. And there is the stairwell to tranquility. So just enemy step. That's all you gotta do. And then they sink into the ground. I don't even think you have enough time to fight those. Now, interesting thing about this part of the game. You could do this before too if you went to the last level, but I'm gonna show it off real quick here. If you let's say you missed the, I mean I can't show it off because I missed the secret mission, but like if you missed the secret mission that's outside of Nello Angelo's little room, you can come back to this place, and if you go to the Lost Woods. The orb that you need to follow won't be here anymore, but you can actually just go through either side. That or I got very lucky when I went through last time. I tried this, and it just happened. I'm pretty sure there's no puzzle here now, it just automatically takes you to where you need to go. Yeah, so you can come through over here, and if you needed to do the secret mission where you do the enemy step up the Sin Scythe or Sin Scissors or whatever they were before, it'll just activate over here. You can do that. Normally there's just a couple enemies over here. Nothing really noteworthy. I'm pretty sure you can't. Yeah, you can't go through the gate anymore. It doesn't open even if you beat the enemies. So we're just gonna go back to the regular mission. I think this takes you... No, it doesn't. Okay. I couldn't remember if it just automatically sends you back through the woods or not, but I guess it's not. I don't know why it would, but for whatever reason, I'm remembering it being able to do that. Really, I just wanted an excuse to show that they have nighttime versions of these areas, and they look really nice. There's not much reason to go over here, but it's fun to explore in this game. Like I said at the beginning, I think Devil May Cry 1 has the best environments in the series. Has my favorite level design for sure. You can definitely tell that it was going to be a survival horror game at one point, and a lot of that DNA is still very much in it. Yeah, so if you come up here, and the camera is working with you, there's an untouchable. Also, I wasn't able to get it, but if you fly to the very top of that thing, I'm pretty sure, I think it has to be like the very top tip of the thing there. You can actually get one of the like really large red orbs, but I mean I don't have any Devil Trigger right now, so I can't do it. Hey, Future Comkill here. I misremembered. The thing I was thinking of was actually if you go back to Ifrit, where you get that weapon on New Game Plus, there will be a giant red orb there. I'll put a picture of it here from like a screenshot, but I didn't have a recording of it. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It's not come back at night. It's come back on a new playthrough if you already got the weapon. So I don't know. There's some weird red orb thing somewhere around there, but it doesn't show up the first time through. We're just gonna cut that part out. Oh. I'm gonna cut this part out. I'm tempted to go back in there and just like make it like, oh yeah, no, I only went in there the one time. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh well. They're laughing at it. Somebody thinks it was funny. Somebody's also having a very bad time, it sounds like, in the distance there. But yeah, the atmosphere when you come back to the castle, like, this part of the game is great. This is probably the most it feels like a horror game. Like, everything from this point onwards in terms of the environments and the kind of ambient sound and everything. If not this, then the actual final area is something pretty special. But we'll get to that when it's actually time. Use it for this part coming up here. Oh, if you go and click on the door, Dante's like, oh, it's dark powers that have taken away the doors. Actually, speaking of doors, if you ever play, I know I just switched to Ifrit, it's kind of funny. I forgot about that. If you ever play the original Trial, like the one that's only in Japanese, you can find it online. But you have to like emulate it or play it on a PS2. But if you ever play that, this room has so many more doors in it. It's kind of crazy. Also, another interesting thing about that trial version that we're gonna kind of see here in a second, related to this enemy. So these are plasma. It's kind of interesting. It's a little bat, but then it transforms into Cyclops Dante over here. But if you notice, well, you don't notice now because it's not visible. He shoots sonic booms at you. That's pretty funny. His design, he doesn't have the longer coat that Dante has. He has just like a little jacket. If you see the shop, some of the moves, Dante also doesn't have the longer coat. And in that first trial, it was he didn't have the rest of it. It was just like a short jacket. So I think they they kind of based some of that stuff off the made-up models for Dante. I don't know if they decided later that they wanted the coat to be longer, or if it just wasn't done at the time. But it's pretty interesting. Two can play it back. Or I guess not. Alright, so there's I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this boss coming up here. I'm gonna go ahead and let myself get caught just to show off the thing about it, but you can actually start this fight by turning the little symbols on the wall on first, the little switches. unlocks the gate of the underworld. So this is Nightmare. And our weapon, our little gun that I need to actually... I don't remember, I don't know if there's any penalty or not for actually using... Oh, perfect. If there's any penalty, like as far as damage goes, for using the Nightmare beta against Nightmare. I don't think there is, but I thought I heard something about that, but I think that turned out to be false. So that's something. It would make sense that it has like damage reduction. It's like the same whatever Nightmare is made of, but like I don't know. Anyway, unlike Phantom and Griffin and Michelangelo, Nightmare isn't actually sentient. It says this in its boss bonuses. It's actually just a tank. Which is also why there's a gun. And you can fight these other bosses again if you get caught by that kind of maw or whatever that pulls out. That only appears when the symbols are turned off, though. And when you beat them, it does a good chunk of damage to the boss's health bar, so it is worth doing. You also, when you beat the bosses, you get fully restored. They are also weaker than their original, because you're not fighting the entire boss again. Also, important on Nightmare, the orb here, this core, takes less damage overall the more hits you do. And I totally didn't forget to press the button when I was holding it, thinking that there was an attack gonna come out there. So the best strategy is actually to use charge hits with Ifrit, especially if you have Deadly Trigger. But on normal, it's not such a big deal. On Dante Must Die, you really don't want to pay attention to that. I was gonna say something to the effect of like Nightmare has my favorite boss theme, but really all the boss themes are kind of amazing in this game, so it's really just whoever I fought last. Like I love all the... I think Devil May Cry 1 probably has my favorite soundtrack in the series overall. Later games, I really like the vocal battle themes, and I like how in 5 they're dynamic. There you go, that's a good example of the beta. That said, again, I'm going to be going with the shotgun, really. But the vocal battle themes are pretty cool in the other games. But I think the ambient music was probably the best in the first game. There's 2 in this first one. This is actually probably the toughest part of this mission. So you have to fight 4 shadows in total. For some reason, they put 2 of them in this first one. That was not what I was looking for. Weirdly, I managed to not aggro the second one, it seems like, so that's interesting. Hang out here until he dies. Help that you're gonna drop. So back off from the explosion. And now you. Thank you for being very cooperative here. You're going to regret it. Now, the trick with this, don't go out the red door. I swear every time I go out the red door, because I'm like just so used to running through that one, you want to go through the blue one, because that leads to the other room that you come from. Like, usually you come from this room and you go through the other one. I don't know why, but every time I get very confused with it. And before you go into the next area, because that'll also quit the mission, you gotta fight the one here. But there's one in here, and there's one in the bridge. Fighting one in this room is super easy. You have so much. You would think with all the pillars and everything in the way, they would be kind of hard, but no, you have so much room. It's like the fight with the one in the courtyard over there. It's just you're not gonna so you got up here. Come on. It would have been hilarious if the explosions somehow, like, damaged the area where Dante just falls off. But yeah, the last one's here. Opposite, this one's actually really dangerous because the room. This is like, there's a room in DMC4 that this kind of reminds me of, where it's just a really tiny room. And usually it's in that game, the room I'm thinking of is the problem, because it's like you fight like 3 puppets or something in there. But, then there's Legendary Dark Knight difficulty. You fight like a million times. It's like, it's very exciting, but it is very dangerous. So. Alright. That takes care of that. Alright. I feel like I'm missing a blue orb. In fact, I know I am. There we go. There's not a ton of secret missions left in the game at this point. I forget how many, to look at the file. I know where one of them is, and we're gonna have to get we'll have to get a couple more purple orbs for that one. So we're probably gonna be mostly spending on that. Now, cool thing about this bridge, I didn't grab the red orbs from it earlier. If you come back in this mission like at night, they've changed it and now way more valuable from earlier. So I don't know how you're supposed to figure that one out, but you know, it's kind of neat. Honestly, that feels like one of those things that you learn on replay because you're like, you already have all the moves and everything and you don't feel like picking them up, and then you come back and they're way bigger. It's like, whoa, what's that about? Yeah, there's another blue red fragment on this side. There's no touchable up here. I don't think you can use this. I think it's like, oh no, never mind, you can. I'm wrong. No, you know, it's the one on the other side you can't use when you go through there later. That's right. But yeah, get that stuff through here. That's an S rank, so that's 2,000. That's nice. I keep scrolling over 3. All right, well, we'll see you next time.